goddess kills disabled folk, is eventually going to deconstruct the entire world and throws her own people off the divine city into the void. Let's talk more about the lore and how she's one of the most popular goddesses in the world. And all this lore is coming from the world of my mangas, The Night of Slaughter and Devil's Deal. But the thing you need to understand is there are few things Cypher cares more about than her people. Which is why when it comes to disabilities, she has the quality of life assessment that her priests and doctors have to use before termination. Because the quality of life matters more than the length of life, and if you're just going to suffer and not have a good life, why even have a life to begin with? Return to the cycle and get reborn anew for a different chance. Since we know Bayshar is a floating city across the void, which as a reminder is longer than the west to east side of the United States. So with limited space and limited resources, they have to ensure population control, which is why if you hit 60, regardless of your race, with the exception of few, you go over the edge at your ceremonial funeral. And when you hit the void, you are instantly disintegrated. It is painless, but it is death. But what happens if you die before 60? It's very similar to honestly just being 60. You meet at the edge of the city. You have your body there on a catapult, effectively. They go over your life work. Your friends and family say goodbye. The priests do their thing, and then they launch your body over the edge to eventually hit the void at the bottom. But what about people who commit crimes? So within Bayshar and Elistar, which is the dragon haven that's underneath the top of the city, there are only two types of crimes: the redeemable ones and the unforgivable ones. So when we talk redeemables, that's petty theft, that's minor violence, there's non-church corruption. An example of this would be running a business and not operating ethically with your workers. But the unforgivable ones, well, they're grape, essay, pedo behavior, corruption as a church official. And if you commit a crime, basically the first person you're going to run to is the guards. They are trained and specialized in non-lethal force. Like, they're not even allowed to use lethal force. There are special people in the city who get called in to deal with that. And mostly, if a situation requires that, the non-lethals are going to basically hit up those guys and they're going to teleport in to deal with that situation real quick like. And once you are brought in, an investigation is done. If they find out, okay, cool, you have a redeemable crime, you're basically going to go to community service, you're going to go through re-education, you're basically going to make amends if you hurt a party. But if you commit an unforgivable crime, well, then that goes to the Void Priest. They basically review the file, and it works its way all the way up to the Grand Priestess, and you're held in confinement this whole time, and if she looks at it and is like, all right, cool, yep, I agree, it's unforgivable, they send it up to Cypher, and all the people who committed unforgivable crimes have their day in front of the goddess all at once. Basically, in a 24-hour period, she goes through them and commits them to death. But when you get committed to death, you don't fall into the void. No, that's peaceful. One of two things will happen. One, you will be forced to touch this void. Upon making contact with that thing, you will be slowly pulled into it, breaking bones. Your flesh will rip. It is incredibly painful as you are condensed piece by piece until you are completely consumed and deconstructed. Or she will summon one inside your body as you crumple slowly into a singularity and are consumed by the void, and then you die. Everyone is used to seeing these versions of Cypher: bubbly, peaceful, and motivating. But few people actually get to see the judgment side of this goddess and live to tell the tale. Hell, even when she was fighting the literal goddess of death, Cypher treated her more like a mentor than an actual rival who she was taking seriously. If you want to see this lore in action, grab a copy of The Devil's Deal or Night of Slaughter.